What's up, everybody? Welcome to the NFL Thursday Night Football Pre-Lock Show. As always, walking you up until about 30 minutes till kickoff or so. We'll talk you through, answer your questions. So fire them off, get them ready to go in chat. Good game tonight going on here in the NFL. At least I'm kind of going to be entertained by it. Tough scene out there, man. You sit down, Davis, you try to eat a little food. You got the NFL on the plate. They got a freaking late scratch in the NBA. You can't even mess with that because you ain't got time, man. Just brutal life here, man. Just brutal.
You know, there's no rest. There's no rest for the wicked. We got NBA going on. I didn't even get my swaps in on Underdog. I didn't get my swap rankings in. So I'm hoping that whatever I had in there was good. You know, I think this is gonna be a great game. I chopped the mini max on Monday 6 ways, so a couple $1,000 there. Kevontae Turpin for our Dallas Cowboys, you know, got the job done. And this, anytime everyone's convinced a showdown game is going to be terrible, there's always opportunities, in my opinion.
Oh, it's a game. Like every game, no matter how bad it is, there's money to be won regardless. So that's all you gotta know about that. And who would have seen? Who would have thunk Cooper Rush throwing for 350, 3.5 bills against a vaunted defense?
How about this, Chop? I said on the expert survey, I said I'm going under on Cooper Rush. I don't like him. I flat excluded him from my first run. I'm walking my dogs. I get the notification on my phone that Jalen Brooks is out. So I run back down. I run back to my house real quick to go rerun my set. And I forget to uncheck Cooper Rush. I flat excluded him in my first run. Forgot to uncheck him because I'm doing it fast and end up getting the win anyway. So sometimes they say this in soccer. Sometimes you need one to go in off your ass. I got one to go in off my ass.
Yeah, you got it. All right, let's see here. Where are we at? Guys, again, fire off those questions. We're going to answer them all here eventually. We're going to talk you through some players and some props and maybe a little SimLabs here in a little bit and figure it out. So I get your opinion, first of all, on this game. We've got a divisional game. We've got weather. So that's the first thing. I know people are going to ask about that. How are you factoring in the weather forecast into your player pool?
So the most recent thing I read, and this was about 30 minutes ago, was that the guys were coming out to the field to come warm up, and the wind and the weather and the snow and the rain was not as bad as they thought it was going to be early in the morning. That basically they thought it was going to be awful. The line is down. It opened real late Sunday night at 41. It's down to 36.5 or 37, kind of depending. But I am kind of playing this like the Browns are going to do what they're going to do. Jameis Winston ain't afraid of no rain.
No, I wouldn't think so. And yeah, the weather sometimes is really overblown. Sometimes it makes a bit of a difference. But a lot of times it's just overrated. So kind of with you there, but Pittsburgh just naturally wants to run the ball, you know, a lot anyway. And so I don't think it really affects them too much. Jameis, though, I am a little. Okay, so I did some props earlier in the week.
Okay.
It was Jameis passing props, namely attempts, you know, things like that. I'm hoping that the weather doesn't affect any. I was a little bit worried when I first saw Roth's forecast that maybe those overs might be in trouble if they decide to run the ball a little bit extra there or slow things down. I don't know. So we'll see how that all plays out. Let's see here. Where are we at? All right. Let's talk about a few players here real quick while we get some questions worked up. Right. Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Your general thoughts on the game script here? Like sometimes I just started off with a very macro approach. Is Team A more likely to pass, run? Is that going to lead to Team B more likely to pass, run?
Well, Team A is going to want to run the ball. I'm telling you, Mike Tomlin woke up this morning, did 50 push-ups, and he was like, I cannot wait to run the ball 50 times tonight. And on the other side, you would think Kevin Stefanski, he's from that West Coast offense. Like, he wants to run the ball too. That has not really been the case for a long time, even last year, and with Deshaun Watson and with Joe Flacco. Like, they tried to pass with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. This has been a positive pass rate over expectation team for like the last 18 months. It's kind of how the team is built. They were supposed to have this great offensive line, and that was kind of the thesis of the team. The offensive line is bad. They're not good enough to generate a push. Now, is Jameis Winston going to be running for his life? Is he going to get sacked 4 times? Probably. But yeah, I'm with you. I think the Steelers are going to want to run. I think the Steelers are going to get up in this game almost for sure. And I do think we see 34, 35 pass attempts from Jameis. And I'm looking at the ownerships here in lineup HQ, and I think the best plays of the night are the Browns pass catchers. Moore, Tillman, Judy, and Njoku. They all look a shade too low to me.
Yeah, he's got a handful of weapons. You got to figure out which one they're going to go to. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Who's doing the screen share here? Is it Stevie? Is it you, Davis? Who's got
I got it.
SimLabs fired up.
I got SimLabs fired up.
Let's take a look at it real quick, because I was very curious on what it's going to stick back to us. Now let's talk about settings first before we get into it. If you haven't looked at this, guys, yet, it's the SimLabs. It's just you can get it with the package here for like $40 a month. You get this access to this right here, what Davis has pulled up on his screen. It's just an easy way to input some settings in about 5 seconds and have it spit you out 150 lineups, and just well built, well correlated based on your settings. Easy peasy, man. It's fantastic for showdowns. It's fantastic for short slates, and we've got one of the premier short slates coming up about a week from today, actually.
True.
Thanksgiving. So, if you want to give it a shot for a week or a month, go ahead and get in on that SimLabs action at the RG. So check that out. So Pittsburgh, Cleveland tonight. Weather could not be a question. Does the matchup, the weather, does any of this stuff change the settings that you would normally or do you go game by game and say, well, shit, these are 2 shootout teams. I want to adjust my settings tonight, or this is a run heavy game, I want to adjust my or are you just pretty much universal on your settings?
No, I'll definitely chop and change them around. Especially if I'm just running something real quick, I will normally what I'll do is I'll move the results range. I'll do very low, and let's say I only had 10 minutes tonight or something. I just wanted to fire a couple in real quick. I would just exclude some guys. I do it that way. Like, I'd be like, okay, I don't want any Chris Boswell captain. I think the field's going to do that too much. I don't want any Calvin Austin in the flex. I think the Browns guys are better. I don't want any, I don't know. Jerome Ford will probably be a little bit under-owned tonight because people are like, oh, Chubb, I don't want to play 2 running backs together. A lot of sims and optimizers won't give you the 2 running backs together. I think the 2 running backs together on both teams is pretty strong tonight. But I wouldn't fiddle with too much tonight, other than if you were doing your stuff in lineup HQ and not the sims, I would do min 1, or I do the player group, players to use 1 to 4. Tillman, Judy, Moore, and Njoku.
Okay, then let's do that. Let's play around with it. Let's get some percentages here. Let's run it like you would normally run it and see what it spits out.
All right, so I would probably run it like this. I would exclude Chris Boswell and the captain. Results range low. I would move the ownership weight very low, and I'd move the upside weight a little bit higher. Probably would do correlation weight very low. I like that stuff to occur naturally, basically. It definitely, Derek just said in chat, 3 running back night. Definitely could be a 3 running back night. Yeah, these look okay. This first lineup looks pretty good. I probably want as much Jameis as the computer would give me.
Okay. Is Jameis a captain for you?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to parse out. Is it better to do the more owned captain, which is Jameis, to capture a little bit more of like, the Jerome Ford catches one, Tillman catches one, and he gets the bonus, but none of the wide receivers really smash? Or do you kind of go like, oh, Elijah Moore is going to be 3% the captain, Njoku is going to be 4.5%, Jerome Ford's going to be 1.5%. I think I probably like kind of scattershotting around, like Cedric Tillman is 9% in the captain in lineup HQ compared to Najee at like 14, Pickens at like 13. I like those lineups a little better.
Okay. What's our exposures look like in this particular bill right here? Let's pull that up and see if we got any stands here. Oh, look at that. A lot of Russell, but it's always going to give you a lot of quarterbacks in the flex.
A lot of quarterback in the flex, a lot of Tillman, very low Elijah Moore.
Wow.
Very low Elijah Moore. So let's.
Okay. Well, you know what? If we're breaking down the actual script here of this game and the micro part of it, maybe they see something. Maybe they see the same thing I see, Davis. Maybe
well, I think what SimLabs is getting at is his median projection, I think, is like 6.2 points or something, like very low. His median projection is lower. I mean, it's like half of Pickens. It's lower than, he basically is the same median projection as Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin is way less. I think there's some input volatility with these projections, though, because Mike Williams 2 weeks ago ran 7 routes. Last week, he ran about half the routes. I think he's coming for Calvin Austin snaps, and I think it's going to start tonight.
There's no doubt about that. That's only a matter of time. So, but I think in the matchup, if I know the lineup HQ, I know the projections aren't factoring that kind of stuff in, but the matchup itself, the way Pittsburgh lines up, probably favors Cedric Tillman more than Elijah Moore, period. Like, that's just the way their defense works. So I like that call of it. What's the captains look like up there? We got a lot of Najee. I put Najee down. I was all over Najee in the survey, but man, I don't know. He's a tough pill to swallow, man. Like, he doesn't do a whole lot, but sometimes
that's what I'm saying. It's like, so I'm thinking about all the captain options. So it's like, okay, Pickens, Najee, Judy, Jalen Warren, Chris Boswell, Steelers defense. I'm like, I'm really not giving up a ton in projection, specifically ceiling projection, with these Judy, Moore, and Njoku captains. And they just look so low owned to me. And look, I came off a win, so I can give some back tonight if I'm wrong. It's fine to be wrong every once in a while.
So I know you say you're not really worried about the weather too much, but is there a little piece in your brain back there, that little part of your brain that says, okay, I'd be much higher on George Pickens if this was a dome game? I'd be much higher on George Pickens.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I guess he's really expensive, but not that it really matters. I guess it doesn't really matter a ton in the context of this slate because there are some good cheapies. I feel like ultimately the pass catcher ownerships are all a little bit high. And I think Nick Chubb, whatever the computer has for Nick Chubb, he's coming in higher. Whatever the computer has for Najee Harris, it's coming in higher. Whatever the computer has for Jalen Warren, it's coming in higher. Anyone who's hand building in this game, they're putting a running back in the captain, man.
Okay, we'll see. I don't want to give away too much of a spoiler on the Plums play of the night, but a question in chat from Coco is who is your favorite captain tonight? Without giving away your Plums play of the night, you can just give us some vague overthought.
Favorite captain is Moore or Judy. Moore or Judy. Yeah.
Interesting. Jerry Judy, quite the resurgence here, man. He's being ever since Steve Smith kind of badmouthed him on the NFL Network. He's coming in. Oh, it's sleeting in Cleveland on pregame. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what that. Just nothing like some more bad weather stuff to make everybody scramble a little bit more.
Got a stat here from NFL Network. Jameis Winston never started an outdoor game with kickoff temperature below 40 degrees before.
Yeah, really? I got to bump him down. He's a Florida boy, man.
He's a Florida boy. Yeah, it's like, okay, What is the path to Jameis not throwing the ball a ton? The Browns win. They get an early touchdown or they get an early interception. Special teams play could totally happen. Nick Chubb breaks off a 60-yard run. They get up that way. But pretty much any other way the game plays out, it's either run, punt, or Jameis has got to throw.
We'll see. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see here. Oh, Brian, believe me, FanDuel doing FanDuel things, can't get in. It was such a grind right before the NBA lock just to put in a lineup, just to edit my lineup. And now I can't even go back and edit it again, right? Like FanDuel is they're going to be paying somebody's tab tonight, a lot of people's tab tonight. Any Elijah Moore? Yeah, he likes Elijah Moore. We're all over that. Who's chalkier, Chubb or Ford? Who is chalkier, Chubb or Ford? That's a good question. Ford is right there with him.
I'm going to guess Chubb, but they're both going to be super chalky relative to what a running back tandem would normally be. Let me pull up lineup HQ. Right now in lineup HQ, Chubb is right about 30%. Ford is about 16%. So there you go.
All right, you're on FanDuel now. This is a Carolina guy, FanDuel. He loves him a little FanDuel. You're on FanDuel. Who's your favorite MVP for large field? And then in the flex, do you have a low-owned guy on FanDuel?
So it's like Najee is the FanDuel play. FanDuel's a game about touchdowns, bro.
But large field. And you already said it, David. Don't go back on what you've
already
said. Pass catchers, brother. It's got to be massively underowned in the MVP tonight.
Oh my God, yeah. I was doing the expert survey. I was doing the expert survey earlier, and I was like, contrarian captain. I mean, frick, Jerry Jeudy's contrarian captain. Jerry Jeudy's going to be 4% MVP on FanDuel. Now, Chad is rightly pointing out it doesn't matter because FanDuel's down right now. So you guys are all getting to experience what I experience with FanDuel, which is anytime I try and get on FanDuel, they lock me out and they make me change my password.
Brother, they've got the captcha thing that they do sometimes that it just keeps repeating on a hamster wheel over and over. Where you got
they got me to give up, man. I've been playing on FanDuel since 2012, and I can't do it anymore. It's too annoying.
Yeah, it's rough, but we'll grind through it. Okay. When we did do the SimLabs a minute ago, at least Brian has made a point in chat. Pitt D at captain for all the money. It was giving you some Pitt D and captain. Is there any circumstance you would play a defense in captain? It seems like the upside is so low on that, on like 95, 99% of the time. Would you do that?
What was it? Two years ago was the year of the defense and showdown slates. So the thing is you actually want defenses more in games where teams throw. Like if you actually really think this game sucks and that the weather's going to be really bad, the defenses are like good flex plays. But how do you generate 17 points if there are no pass attempts? Like if you think Jameis Winston's handing off to Nick Chubb all game, you wouldn't really want to play the Steelers defense, and they're going to be overowned tonight. I think we're going to see right now in SimLabs, we've got a 20 or in lineup HQ, we got a 27% projected ownership on the Steelers. That is, and that's not including the captain. That's just the base. So that's very high for a defense. That's expensive.
Yeah. So what about kickers? Bad weather, sleeting, they say, a little snow, a little wet field. How much do you dock the kickers here?
I think you should dock them some. Like they also seem like bad captain plays. The more I'm thinking about it, I wonder if the quarterbacks are just the captain plays. They both look a little light, and I don't know, 16 points. If it's really as bad as it gets out there, like if it really is this snow and no one can move and the offense is really conservative, like 16 points might be good in captain if it really does play out like that.
I'm a little bit thrown off here because, the passing game is going to go under-owned in general because of the weather and probably some of it's the matchup and the styles and everything. But if we're sitting down there and breaking down the matchups on that level, both teams theoretically should have a lot more success through the air against that other defense than on the ground. That's been the trend this year for both defenses. So, yeah, I mean, we should be talking ourselves into more of the passing game in the captain spot and stuff like that, right? Like,
yes,
which makes sense, man.
That's what I'm saying. I just think the easiest way to get unique lineups in Showdown, which is like, I mean, it's like half the battle. It's just not like, I don't know, Chop, you ever been a part of one of those like 117 way splits for first?
Sure.
It's fun. It's fun, but it's not that fun, right? The fewer people you're splitting with, and you can. I mean, I'll tell you what I did in my run, with my own stuff. I just changed the totals. I just gave the Browns 3 more points, and I changed their pass rate from 56% to 60%. Easy, very, very simple stuff. That's like the easiest way to generate different lineups is to use just to slightly alter your projections.
Yep. All right. We got about 4 minutes left. In just a minute, we'll do the Plums play of the night and get you guys out of here. But first, before we do that, we got to build a player prop card. I need a player prop card to hit for me. All right. With that in mind, I don't want to hedge off Jameis, but just keep in mind, I've already done Jameis overs. So maybe we don't have to, like, I don't have to go all in on Jameis overs, but give me one of your favorite props out there for tonight in this game.
I'll tell you the one that I've done the most. I did Jaylen Warren over 13.5 receiving yards. I actually, on Underdog, I moved him all the way up. They have the sliders. I did it to 19.5 receiving yards. He got 4 targets last week. He's had at least 2 targets every game he's played. And he just slips to the outside, gets one on a wheel route. Nice and easy. They could check down a little bit more if the weather really is that bad. So Jaylen Warren receiving stuff.
Okay, got that one. Now let me talk to you about Russell Wilson here. I'm seeing him right now, 186.5 passing yards. That's nothing for the NFL. That seems like it's – the thing about him now is we know what George Pickens is and what George Pickens can do down the field. Now he has Mike Williams, and you talked about that earlier, incorporating him even more. Mike Williams is not a gadget guy. Mike Williams gets down the field. That's 2 deep threats against a defense that is susceptible to the deep ball.
Yeah.
What about this Russell Wilson passing? That's like that. He could snap that in 3 passes, man. What are we doing with that?
I tell you what, Mike Williams' longest reception. That seems pretty good. I bet it's let me guess. Off the top of my head, I'm going to guess Mike Williams' longest reception is 16.5 yards. Let's see. Oh my God.
What you got?
Is this right? I guess I'm looking at Underdog and they're just pretending it's 5.5 yards.
Wait a minute. I'm pounding that. I'm seeing 6.5. Mike Williams. Oh, they're not accounting.
They're asleep at the wheel.
No, everybody's asleep. They're looking at last week's snap counts.
Guys, that is potentially a generational wealth play.
Okay, let's run it back with a Cleveland. What's your favorite Cleveland guy so we can get this in before they jerk it off the board here?
I'm doing I'm just gonna take a real quick Jameis Winston over. So I'm gonna do Jameis Winston over 12.5 fantasy points.
Man, that sounds juicy too.
My God. That is unbelievable. I guess they do think he's not playing.
Yeah, they're stuck on some last week's snap counts or something. That's not. Yeah, I'm taking that. All right, got that one in 6.5 yards. That's one. That's not even a catch, man. That's pretty easy stuff there. So, guys, if you got you some access to player props, hit that Mike Williams. If you're seeing it 5.5, 6.5, 10 yards, like that's nothing for him. He'll tear
That's
that
I mean,
up
it's just that's just one catch. Does Mike Williams get a catch in this game?
That's not
Basically,
it. Yeah, if he gets a catch, probably 20 yards. Yeah, just one catch, one little target. So we got that going for us. So Eric, you took Ford over 31.5 rushing receiving yards. Pair that one with a little Mike Williams. It should do you good, man. Freiermuth first touchdown. You like that one?
I like Darnell Washington first touchdown.
I like Darnell, the
I
big
like
Georgia
Darnell.
kid, man.
That's Arthur Smith right there. Arthur Smith doing the trick play to get Darnell the touchdown for sure.
I like that. Let's see. Mattek is Jackson Arnold's older brother. I could see that. You're familiar with Jackson Arnold's game?
Yeah, he stinks. But
no. He's a product of poor coaching.
A big compliment. I assume he sees my my University of Oklahoma helmet, my Sam Bradford action figure there right there. So he is paying me a compliment.
Let's see. Okay. I think that's all the questions. So we're going to wrap this thing up with our plums play of the night. I'm going to turn the floor over to you, David. Give me your plums. Fill it in the plums. Your best play tonight. The guy that you'll have he's all everything to you tonight.
I am going to need Elijah Moore to generate at least 15 points here. I looking at my stuff. I've got like twice Elijah Moore in the captain and in the field than everyone else. That's my gonna need. Can we do 5 for 65 and a touchdown from Elijah Moore? If we can get that, we are laughing at the bank. Chop.
Fair enough. All right, so I'm gonna give you my plums play of the night. I don't know that this guy is gonna be in my captain spot because I kind of don't need to save that much money tonight in captain, right? So, and I don't know exactly what he's gonna end up with, but I think first of all, Najee Harris. Pound the rock. 2 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards. Najee Harris out of the backfield, a little 3-yard reception. Najee, beat him up, butter him up. And then, boom, bring in my boy Jaylen Warren, a little speed show, 50 yards to the house. I think Jaylen Warren breaks off a long run tonight. I think he gets in the end zone. I like Jaylen Warren in flex. Don't know if I like him in the captain spot because, like I said, I don't think I need that. But I like Jaylen Warren tonight. I think Najee pounds his head into the line so much, and then Jaylen kind of reaps the rewards of that a couple times tonight. So I'm on Jaylen Warren. And we'll see. Davis, that was it, man. Wrapped it up Thursday Night Football. Guess what? This time next week, we'll be eating some turkey, brother. I don't know if you like turkey, but you'll be eating it next week. And so I don't think we'll have a show, but we'll have some good football going on. And, so this is probably your last time before Thanksgiving. Got anything to say to the people?
No, happy Thanksgiving. I'm really looking forward to it. Sosa or the powers that be, if you need me for a Thanksgiving show, slide in the DMs. Man, I can't. I love Thanksgiving food. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, pecan pie. I mean, that is like Thanksgiving when you're in my line of work, one of the greatest days of the year, man. It's incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad takes out there about Thanksgiving food being bad, and that's why you only have it once a year.
No,
people need to touch a little grass and eat a little turkey. Get real with it, guys. We do appreciate you tuning in. We'll have all kinds of football next week. Super active, super busy. It's the best time. It's literally the best time of year. The Thanksgiving flows right into CFB Bowl season and the playoffs this year, and those Saturday NFL games are up upon it. Like it's just a good time of year. So enjoy it all. Get those lineups in. Good luck in those GPPs. For Steve behind the scenes, for Davis joining us on this Thursday, I was your host, Chop. We're out of here.